Hi folks, Kevin here. Well, it's June 15th, 2017, and I've just gotten done going and getting all of these dump trailer loads. There's 7 piles behind me here. This is going up on top of the Hugelkultur Terrace along the soil connection canal. That's right behind me down there. You can see a little bit of the spruce trees at the top edge of the section. Typically what I'd be doing is making a nice row to do composting and really kill all the potential weed seeds, bindweed, certainly quackgrass, these roots that are tenacious perennial plants that are tough around here, and kill any potential pathogens as well. This material came from the same location that I started with the series on the composting. Unfortunately, I'm having challenges with that because it isn't composting, it isn't coming up to temperature. But I'll have more to say about that in one part of this video or another video. So the question was, what the heck is going on? Why isn't this stuff coming up to temperature? It's only been, I think, just over a week since I got all the other pile, and you can see they generated 7 dump trailer loads, quite a few yards. So each dump trailer holds 6 yards. So let's say 42 yards here and another 2 loads I put up with the original composting pile, which I typically don't do. I don't usually often add fresh material to material that's composting, but that really isn't composting. It hasn't become thermophilic yet. So I did shoot some footage of the paddock, the lot where the horses are being maintained, and what they ended up doing was they ended up grading and scraping all of the sod off. So look at this area. What they ended up doing is grading the whole area, and any manure, sod, bumps, rocks, and a lot of dirt ended up going into that pile that I've been trying to compost and that I added the comfrey to. They didn't get it all up yet. You can see a little bit more over there, but it does have some manure mixed in the background. Let's see. We can see some piles of manure. So what I asked them to do in the future is when they tear up the sod and do grading and backblading and get so much dirt, trying to keep that separate from the manure and the bedding and the hay and straw that's used otherwise, trying to keep it in 2 separate piles. Let's hope that they can do that, because it's very difficult to try and compost something that has so much of the eroded, and most of this is subsoil, as you can see. The horses, it's slightly overstocked in this area for good soil generation, and as a result the soil has been depleted, and the depth of it is quite shallow, as you can see, and been trampled on by the horses. So it's loaded with weed seed, certainly, but it's more of dirt. I won't call it soil because the area that the horses are in, it's rather densely populated. There's a significant amount of trample. There isn't adequate ground cover. There's wind and water erosion as a result. So it's not really good viable soil, but there's a lot of dirt. Some of the mother material, sand, silt, and clay mixed in with this, and plenty of rocks. So what am I going to do? My decision here is I'm not going to be able to take care of the weed seeds, but I'm going to spread it out here. And here we are along the soil capturing canal, and this is a Hugelkultur Terrace here. And I've been working on this for a few years now, building it up slowly. I still have more logs to put in here. And this all of this manure here, all this dirt is sitting on top of logs laid parallel to each other, creating a huge terrace. So what I'm going to do is spread this out. I'm not going to put it right to the edge here. because I'll be using wood chips right at the edge and more logs. But I'm going to spread this out, and then I'm going to add some of my vermicompost, my red wigglers, to this material and let them start working on it. Hi folks, well, it's the next day, and I've gone ahead and I've spread out yesterday, after making the initial part of the video, I spread out those piles of dirt mixed in with some manure, hay and straw. I picked up a lot of the rocks, and it's just roughed out, so it's not a pile that's going to go thermophilic and start doing some compost if there's concentrated areas of manure. So I've spread that out, and I mentioned before that what I wanted to do is take some of my vermicompost. So I went over to the work area today, grabbed some of the bins, and you might be able to see those behind me, those square black bins back here. And inverting them, we're going to get some rain today that'll help to wash off the soil there, any eggs that are still there, and get the worms start working down in this material. Now ideally I'd plant a cover crop on top of this and then flail mow it into the system and all, but I'm hoping to get more wood chips and do a covering on the surface of this as well. But it's very overcast today. It's going to be that way all day. This week's going to be fairly dark, I think, and we're going to have rain this week. So I think it's going to work out that the worms will get down into the material and start doing their work. See what this bin looks like. Okay, you can see a little more of the worms on the base of this one, and there, let me just move this over. So there's enough worms and eggs in here to really get the a different way of composting the soil. So we're not using thermophilic action, we're actually doing vermicomposting and all. And I'm not concerned about getting this terrace hugelkultur bed completely set right yet. So these composting bins I let go for quite some time. I didn't do the feed them as often as I should have. These are things that I usually run much more consistently during the winter months because I got too darn much stuff to do all summer long, spring and fall long. So these worms will make their way down into the material. Hopefully a lot of these bins will get at least loosened up when we get some of the rain, get some of the material back into the ground. I overfeed these bins during the winter months, and therefore you can see I've tried to duct tape this one and seal some of the edges. They crack on me. I wish it was a stronger plastic, but I'm abusing them by our long winters, feeding them over and over again and getting a real high population. So they're a little slow, so I'm glad it's very overcast today, and we're going to get some rain, and that'll get down into this material. So I just wanted to share with you how I'm adapting my strategy. I would have loved to take this much material and compost it and create more of our permanent raised beds. However, I didn't feel comfortable trying to spend more time trying to get all this material up into the appropriate temperature range. Could I have problems with quackgrass or bindweed or any other issues in here? Could there be some residual drugs that were used for deworming the horses or whatever? There certainly could be. However, by using the vermicomposting technique, we'll deal with everything except for the hardy roots of perennial weedy pests, if you want to think about them that way, and weed seeds. Those are issues that I'll have to deal with, and that's okay. I mean, it's one of the things I have to deal with. I've got this great resource and we're just adapting our strategy to deal with the situation. So I hope this video was of some value. If it was, please give it a thumbs up, share with it, leave a comment, ask a question. I'll try to get back to you and create other videos answering some of these, responding to the comments and questions as time goes on as well. So thanks for watching and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now.